In today's Tactical Tuesday episode, I'm going over shutting down your opponent's effects. In the Digimon trading card game, there are many effects that can turn off other effects. Memory gaining, for example, can be shut down by Modoki Betamon, Terriermon, Chumon, and Gazimon. Meaning if your opponent pops that memory boost while those Digimon are out, it fizzles. Sorry ladies and gents, no takebacks in the competitive scene. But aside from these powerful effects, what are other cards besides the memory reducing ones that I've already talked about that will be utilized in other decks? But before that, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more future content. Although red, black, and purple have the option to prevent play cost reduction, many of the Crossheart, Blue Flare, and other decks rely on their tamers to do the heavy lifting and play other Digimon. I am talking specifically for this video about Pomumon and Pillomon. And for these two cards, I'd like to discuss the advantages they play moving forward and what their generic weaknesses are. Pomumon and Pillomon are both Digimon that prevent Digimon from being played by card effects. Keep in mind, this is a card effect that affects both players. This is a very nifty card considering there are tamers that play Digimon like Akari Hinomoto for Darulumon and Zenjiro Tsurugi for Ballistamon. But cards like BT1 Mimi Tachikawa are unaffected by it because you're moving a Digimon from the breeding area to the battlefield. And while green and yellow have these cards to counter Crossheart decks, well, what else does it really affect? Quite a bit actually. In the upcoming meta, many decks have Digimon that play cards by effects. Bloom Lordmon, for example, focuses on putting out vegetation Digimon as quickly as possible. Utilizing effects like Sunflowmon and Agitarmon, these cards are utilized in order to quickly build a board that can give you memory return with Bloom Lordmon. Gaussmon, which allows you to play a level 4 Digimon with Blue Flare and traits from your hand suspended without paying its memory cost when it's deleted. But if Pomumon or Pillomon is out on the battlefield, not only do you neuter this effect, but if Gaussmon survives by some miracle, both these Digimon can just beat over it. But while these are the newer decks that these cards may counter, what are the older decks that will also be affected? Jesmon is one of the biggest heavy hitters that relies on their sistermon for activated effects. Because of this, if you can set up a Pomumon or Pillomon early in your match against this deck, they'll be forced to play their sistermon for their raw memory cost instead of cheating them out with effects like Savior or Huckmon, or even Jesmon. Luckily, Jesmon has Jesmon X now, which enables them to attack your unsuspended Digimon depending on how the stack was built. Diaboromon is the last deck in discussion for today's Tactical Tuesday episode due to a potentially slower meta. I'm not guaranteeing the meta will be slower due to the fact that I believe that Metal Garurumon X will continue making waves in the BT10 meta like Blue Hybrid did in BT8. The deck is just too consistent. But to the point of Diaboromon, this deck specializes in putting out multiple bodies. Whether you're digivolving into one, or you check a Diaboromon in security that puts out a token. But regardless of how these Diaboromon are popping out, Pomumon and Pillomon simply say no. And lastly for discussion, an oldie and jank deck that I've been working on is Eosmon. Eosmon also cheats out other Eosmon in order to build wider boards. But again with Pillomon or Pomumon's restriction effect, the value off Eosmon suddenly is nullified. But the best thing about Pomumon and Pillomon is that these two cards also counter something that typically can't be countered. Security Digimon. A slew of them are very popular to play in previous formats. Omnimon's Word Defeat, ADR09 Gatekeeper, Geogreymon, and Cordramon. And guess what? Geogreymon can't even delete these Digimon since it doesn't get played. And while there are a multitude of decks I might have missed in today's Tactical Tuesday episode, Pomumon and Pillomon will be valuable assets for green and yellow moving forward into the meta. While you might not have a Digimon that can prevent play cost from reduced, always utilize another option that can slow the game down just a little bit. But the next point of discussion that I want to make is that although Pillomon and Pomumon can be searchable off their respective colors' memory boosts, Pomumon has a significant advantage in how it can be searched and played. Bloom Lordmon decks, or vegetation decks in general, can search for Pomumon off its newest Palmon searcher. In addition, because of Pomumon's status as a vegetation Digimon, this Digimon can also be played by Sunflowmon and Agitarmon's effect. Kind of ironic playing a Digimon that stops other Digimon from being played. But again, do be careful about playing this card because this card not only affects your opponent, but you as well. So as a Bloom Lordmon player, you're immediately unable to play more suspended Digimon to combo off. What are your thoughts on Pomumon and Pillomon moving into the BT10 format? Will you be utilizing it with the idea that it'll counter some aspects of Digicross, Jessmon, Bloom Lordmon, and a select few other jank decks out there? Let me know your thoughts on this Tactical Tuesday episode, and I'll be back for another upload tomorrow with What If? Amy Iba. This is DigiPanda, logging out.